All right, well, hello everyone. Welcome to our class. I'm Coach Jeremy Nason. I'm one of the co-founders of the Insurance Pro Shop. And Insurance WebEx asked me to do these classes periodically to talk about some of the issues agents are facing and how we can help them fill in the gaps, the knowledge gaps. So the first question I have two questions for you today, really, to start with. One is, do you want to be closing more and larger cash value life insurance sales? Is that something you want to do in your practice? If it's not, this is probably the right class for you. Be upfront and honest. But if you're looking to really grow your cash value life insurance sales, want to find a better way to grow your sales, to be able to help more people, sorry, everything's going here at once. All right. All right. So there we go. Can everybody hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, we had all kind of technical issues this morning. So let me ask the question again. In you guys' practice, closing more and larger life insurance sales, cash value life sales. Right? All right, let's go ahead and start over because everything is messed up today. Let's see. All right. Okay, I think we're ready to start finally. So sorry about that. So over the last couple of years, since 17, Insurance WebEx has asked me to put on these classes periodically to help agents fill in the knowledge gaps they're facing in their businesses. So as a mentor, I do lots of classes, usually one a quarter, along with my weekly classes for my members of different topics to help them grow their business. How to grow their sales, how to grow just their overall, sales, marketing, how to become a better, more complete agent. All right. So my first question to you today is, do you want to be closing more and larger cash value life insurance sales? Is that something you want to include in your practice or grow your practice with, transition your practice into? If that's the case, you're in the right place today. We want to teach you some very simple sales solutions that can help you to do just that. But I really want you to think about this. What would it mean to you, your family, your business, your partners, whoever you're with, if you could close one additional case per week for $4,000 or more in commissions? What would that mean to you and your family? What would that mean to your business, to your bottom line? How much would that help you grow? Would that exceed your sales goals? If you're closing one sale a week for $4K, that's $200,000 you're taking 2 weeks off a year for vacation. Would that put you where you want to be financially, business-wise? Would that put you in a great position? All right. So who am I? I'm Coach Jeremy Nason. I'm one of the co-founders of the Insurance Pro Shop. I'm 47 years old. I started this when I was 17. I'm a 30-year veteran insurance producer. I've been training agents for this is my 25th year training agents. And my goal is to help average agents become elite advisors. All right. That's my goal. That's what I'm trying to strive to help you guys do. All right. So I'm going to ask an interactive question. Okay. How do you guys close your sales now? If you don't mind in the chat box, just put down 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Which way are you closing your sales currently? There's a lot of different ways out there, from using company illustration, the option B sheets, the 30-page financial plans like financial profiles, Excel sheets, different softwares like Circle of Wealth, all these tools that are out there, but are they the best piece to use? Right? So Thank you for answering that question. So, but again, so with all these different opportunities, with these different pieces people are using, there's a lot of problems with them. One is too much information, too much numbers, too much legal mumbo jumbo. Too much data leads to analysis paralysis. It freezes the sales process. It stops the clients from moving forward. So if we're giving them information, that we're giving them the illustration software, a 50-page spreadsheet, the 30-page financial plan that has these charts and graphs, do our clients really understand what they're looking at? If you think back to when you first saw a company illustration, what was your overall impression of that document when you first read it? For me, it was a great reading material, put me to sleep in a heartbeat, because it was so much information. Now, back 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when I started this business, illustrations were 8-10 pages long. What's the average illustration today? 30-35 pages. It's become more and more complex. So we got to keep it simple. Our prospects like simple information. They want simple, targeted information, no fluff, no BS. Get them to from A to B. Not this top web, which is most of our sales processes, where it's so convoluted and overdone, overshot, that if we just show them a simple process from A to B, we can close every sale we talk to. And that's the ultimate life solution, is building a 2-page document, building a 2-page solution for our prospects. So the philosophy behind the presentation that I build for my clients is that people buy based on emotion and justify the decision based on logic, right? People buy an emotion. If you go to the store and you buy that candy bar, is that emotion or logical buy? Emotion.
Emotion.
You want that candy bar. You're going to eat that candy bar. It's an emotional connection. When you go buy a car, do you buy a car based on emotion or logic? Emotion. You buy what we want. If we want that 2022 Dodge Silverado, we're going to buy that. Or Chevy Silverado, the hell it is. We'll buy what we want. And then we'll try to justify with the logic behind it of why it makes sense for us to have it. All right. So if that's how people buy, then we need to position our sales, our process, to help them accomplish that goal. If we're using some of these illustrations, is it accomplishing that emotional and logic combination? It's not. It's all logic. It's all numbers. The 30-page financial plans, all numbers. Different carrier softwares, all numbers. Insmark, Leap, Circle of Wealth. It's all, a lot of it's logic, and not enough on the emotional connection we have with our prospect. So the solution we build for prospects, is built on, again, it's 2 pages. Page 1 is the emotion. We were talking about the primary and secondary objectives, what their goals are. We're talking about, what information we use. And so it's built on 4 parts. The 2 objectives, assumptions, need overview. The objectives of why are we here? What are we here for? What problems are we attempting to solve for the prospect? What are their goals they want to have? The assumptions is what we know. Because as you're going through the process, we want to show our process that we are listening. So the more data, more assumptions we can put in place, showing them what information we're using to build our plan off of, the more concrete the plan is. So it's reviewing the data we gather, the facts, the numbers, the health, a lot of the basic information to help them see that we actually listen to their situation and that we're considering more than just one piece in the plan, right? Because what do most advisors do? We find a shiny object. We find that one problem that people have. They want to buy life insurance. We jump on the life insurance sale. They need an annuity. We jump on that annuity sale. We don't build out around it more to really solidify the sale. So if we're all too busy trying to jump to that immediate need and trying to fill it, we're actually causing ourselves to lose more sales and lose more opportunities. All right. The needs overview is what we're trying to accomplish. And planning this, it could be needs overview or recommendations, depending on which way you want to phrase it. But it's to help plant seeds for future sales. All right. Page 2 of the presentation is all about the logic, right? It's looking at their current plan. What does their future look like? Give them a real clear snapshot of what they're going to have in over the next 20, 30 years, 10, 15, whatever the time frame is. The recommendation is what we can do differently for them. What can we do better for them? How can we improve on their situation? One of the goals I have is whenever I see a prospect is I want to leave them in a better position after they met me. I want to make their situation much, much better than if they have never met me. I want them to feel that loss if I was not there. All right. But there's some keys to this planning process that we have to talk about before we can get into the real numbers, nitty gritty of how to build it, how to present it, and why it works so well. We got to figure out who we have the best chance of selling to. For a lot of us, and again, this works across the board for any sales situation. All right. But we're talking about a life sales solution. We want to find who has the best chance of buying life insurance. So is it families, business owners, retirees, children, single people? Which is the best opportunity for our sales? And a lot of people say, well, business owners, and it's not. Families are the biggest market there is, and no one else is serving this family market. It's the easiest, best place to start. Again, we try to find, we get stuck in the final expense, more protection, Medicare, and these different fields that are easy sales, but they're really not. You're not optimizing what your knowledge is and putting your time and your expertise to value. Working in the family markets that no one else is working is a huge opportunity to work with average families and show them how they can increase and better the situation, how they can have that great retirement, how they can have their home paid off in 5 or 15 years, how to plan for Jimmy's college, for Nancy's braces, whatever their goals are in the near future or long-term future. The catch to selling life insurance in general is they have to have a need for it. They need life insurance. That's the biggest thing. If someone doesn't need life insurance, our life policies are not as good investments at that point, because they're not investments. They're life insurance that has a lot of benefits to it. All right. So here are some stats. You write these down, take a picture of them, a snapshot, and whatever. 102 million Americans are underinsured or uninsured in this country. 32% of Gen Z, 30% of millennials, 4% of Gen X, and 47% of seniors said they can't afford life insurance. All these stats lead to that there's always a need for more life insurance. There's always opportunity. If people have something they rely on, something they need to protect, they need life insurance. Do they have a spouse? Do they have kids? Do they own a home? Do they have loans of significance? There's always a need for life insurance. Here's some more stats. When it comes to retirement planning, according to the average retirement account balance for individual Gen Xers is about 130,000. It's actually close to 61,000. 40% of Generation X, Generation Z, the millennials have 40% don't have a penny saved for retirement yet. 64% of my generation has stopped saving for retirement. They think they can ever achieve it. People need our help. These average families have no one out there helping them. They're being, again, I'm smack up my demographics that I search for. They're between 35 and 55, families with kids own homes, make anywhere from $50,000 to $200,000 of income. I'm smack dab in the middle of that. All right. And I've been in Georgia now for 19 years. I've only had one agent contact me in 19 years here. And that's sad, because that means that if they're not contacting me, who's on the upper echelon of my demographic, the people in the lower end have no chance in hell. And no one's out there servicing them. Very few. All right. So Gen X needs our help. Gen Z needs our help. The millennials, Gen Alpha, they all need our help getting a plan together, something they can build on, and something they can show them hope for long term. You know, but before we go on to be able to do this page solution, you must do a fact find first. You must get the prospect emotionally involved. The minute you get the prospect emotionally involved, they tell you what you need to do to be able to sell them. They're telling you what they want, what they want to accomplish, what goals they have. And when we have that information, we can build a plan to meet their exact needs, their exact wants. So it's not just about asking, how much you have in your 401k, when you retire. It's the emotional questions that really set us apart from every other advisor out there. Because we all have the fact find forms. There are thousands of them out there. And people think when I say fact find, it's this film of form. It's not. That's just one small percentage of what is actually happening during an actual discovery interview or a fact find interview. The form is just a form. It's collecting data. We have to make the emotional connection with that form, with the information being gathered, so they can understand the problems they face. If people understand they have a problem, do they want to fix it? When you have a pipe burst in your house, do you ignore it or do you fix it? You fix it. You call the plumber and get it immediately done. You call the plumber before the pipe bursts? No, they don't know they have a problem yet. Same our clients go. They don't know they have a problem. They know they need life insurance, and they know what they're being taught in school. Put money in a 401k, buy some term insurance, listen to Dave Ramsey, will be all right. Does that really work today? So you got to dig deep into the questions we ask our prospects to help them understand the problems they face. Here's just a sample discussion you have about a 401k. And have a discussion about it, a deep discussion. How much more are you willing to lose in your 401k for another correction? How's that going to derail your retirement? How long will it take to recoup those losses? What would you like to see happen? These are the emotional questions that go the deepest, that cut the deepest to help the prospects see the problem they have. Remember, if there is no problem, there is no solution. I don't care how great our product is. If there's no problem up front, it's going to be really hard to sell a solution. Someone was buying for life insurance. That's why people buy term or little, death benefit based UL policies. Our products are so powerful if they're put in the right people's hands and they're taught how to use them properly, they can exponentially help people grow wealth, create income streams that even the government can't touch. And today, that's incredibly important, right? So, quick caveat: if you want to learn how to sell more, how to use questions to create more sales opportunities, how to get more better reports that stick, how to do a great fact find, you can snap a picture of that QR code. It takes you right to the page where you can find more about the book I wrote a couple of years ago. Are you asking enough questions? And it goes into deep detail on how to ask questions and how to really start doing fact finding. All right. Now, so getting into building the plan, building the sales solution, and how to close it. Now, at the very onset, I should have said this. If you can close a sale only using 3 words, would you want to know how? Or 4 words?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So my close to all my presentations is, which plan makes more sense to you? 5 or 6 words is all it is. I don't get in any kind of complicated T-charts, Ben Franklin closes, takeaways. Keep it simple. Which plan makes more sense? So what tools do you need to be able to build these plans? Well, one, Microsoft Word or Open Office, some kind of word processing document, a basic financial calculator. If you don't have one, I have one actually hosted on Google Sheets you can get access to. It does all my basic calculations from 401ks, mortgages, a lot of basic stuff. Your carrier illustration software. That's it. You don't need Innsmark. You don't need Circle of Wealth, high-end planning softwares, profiles, Monte Carlo simulations, none of that crap. All right. All you need is three basic pieces. And once you have those three pieces, you can build these plans for every single person you're seeing. Now, if you're doing investments and some, more high-end planning, there's other software you'll need for this. But for the basic life insurance planning, selling whole life IULs, annuities, basic income planning, this is all you need. Nothing more. No Retilizer, none of these softwares out there that just, buy the red line, sell the green line crap. Keep it simple. Here's where you are now. Here's what we can do better for you. Which plan makes more sense? All right. So you've done the fact find, you've gathered all the information. You got the emotional engagement, ask the soft fact questions, ask the hard fact questions. Differentiate between hard facts are more the data, soft facts are more the emotion. The soft emotional questions we ask. Once you have all that information, you walk through the retirement conversation, you establish need for life insurance, retirement income, then you can build this plan. And again, whatever conversation you have, that bottom section is whatever you're talking about with your client. It could be disability insurance, could be annuities, could be income, it could be income replacement, it could be term insurance, mortgage protection, final expense, Medicare, it does not matter. Whatever question you have, you want to outline the plan using their words. So during the fact find, as people tell you their different hot buttons, as they start unloading information on you, write down what they say. If my client says, Jeremy, I want to screw the government out, I want to never pay taxes again. Great. I hate my 401k and I wish it would burn down. Whatever their statement is, I'm going to use that in the plan. Why am I going to use that information in the plan?
That's what they said. That's important.
That's what they said. They're telling me the emotion they have. They're letting the emotion come through that they have, this is something that aggravates them. It's a hot button. So page 1 is all about recreating the emotion in the home when we get back in. Everything we do is a 2-call close. So call 1 is the fact find, call 2 is presentation and close. So when we come back and do the presentation, I want to get back in the same emotional state they were in during the first appointment. I want to, if they were borderline crying, upset, angry, fed up with the government, hate paying taxes, whatever their position is, I want them in that same emotional state. If I can get them in that same emotional state, that means my plan is concrete. I've established some hot buttons for them. They see the pain they have. They see a problem they're facing. So when I come out and present this to them and go line by line with it of what they're trying to accomplish, what goals they have, what information we used, it makes a solid plan. So Joe's 33 years old. He's putting money into a 401k with no match. He has 55K settings in a savings account. He's putting $14 a month into a savings account, which is earning 2%. He doesn't have a clue to do these funds. He's got a big raise at work, So that's the assumption. That's the needs information we have. That's the hard fact information we collected, right? The soft facts are the 2 primary objectives. Phil having the right plan in place to be able to retire. He wants to retire at 55. He's 33, so he wants to retire in 22 years. All right, so we want to outline this for him to help him achieve that goal. So we use the same emotional points, things he said. Ultimately, he wants to be smart with his money. It'll benefit him later on. He wants to be able to travel more in retirement while he's still young. These are emotional hot buttons that he wanted to accomplish. And our recommendation, needs overview, and again, you can interchange it there, whether you want to use needs overview and list up a couple things you want to accomplish, or just a more transactional, here's what we're going to do this time. All right. So our recommendation is to reposition money from the 401k, savings, redirect the income, and to create a tax-exempt cash flow plan for retirement. Right. That's all the emotion. And when you get people in the same emotional state, they want to take action. They feel that pain. They feel that need to correct this pain. All right. And then page 2 is logic. Now, when I build these plans, I only show them the top half first. So it's top and bottom, right? So it looks like this, right? But I only want to show them the bottom piece. I want to show them the top piece first and go line by line with it. So here's where you currently are today. And when I build it, I built the exact same way every time. I look at what their assets are. I look at what we're trying to, what pieces we're trying to move. Well, we have a 401k, we have a savings account, brokerage account. Those are 3 pieces that we know we have. So this happens in the plan. Or a 401k, savings account, we knew we had those 2 pieces. So that's what he's putting in. So he's spending $17.62 a month, $400 into a 401k, $1,400 into a savings account. He has about $81,000 combined. And I want to outline this for him of what his future looks like. So, and I go line by line with it. So, Joe, you have a 401k earning about 7% before fees. You're putting in $362.50 a month with no match. You have about $26,000 saved so far. Over the next 22 years, by the time you want to retire at 55, you'll spend about $95,700 to have about $252,000 of cash value, which will generate you a taxable income of $10,000 a year based on the 2.8 or 4% or whatever we used. All right. You also have a savings account. You're putting money into it. You're not sure what to do with it right now. You have about $55,000 saved. Over the next 22 years, you're gonna put away about another $400,000 to have about $500. We'll give you another $10,000 of income based on the 2% rate of return your savings account is getting right now. So overall, you're spending $17.62 a month. You have $81,000 saved. Over the next 22 years, you're going to spend $465,000 to have about $802,000 and about $21,000 of all taxable income. Now, it's a great start, but is that $21,000 going to replace the income you're making now? Is that going to allow you to retire at 55 like you want to? Or do you have to wait till 60 or 65 doing this current plan? How do you feel about that? If there was a way to move money around where you can maximize every dollar you have, how much better off would you be? So let's look at it. All right. So your 401k, we're going to stop contributing to it. There's no point. There's no match. It's all taxable at the end. So let you $26,000 grow for the next 22 years. You'll have about $80,000, about $3,000 in income. We're going to stop putting money in your savings account. We're going to hold back about 2 months of income for you, so $25,000 in the account to keep it there for emergencies. Whether it grows or not, I don't care. All right. We're going to move $35,000 to a brokerage account of managed money. It's going to grow from 35 to about 202,000, give you about $8,000 a year income from 55 to 95. We're going to redirect the majority of the rest, $1638 a month, into a life insurance pension account. Could be IUL, whole life, whatever you want to use. This agent likes to use the life insurance pension analogy. You'll have about $1 million in death benefit. So if something just happened to you, your heirs and family will receive $1 million. Over the next 22 years, you're going to spend $432,000 in this account and have about $700,000 when you retire. But this will generate about $55,000 of income tax-free for the next 40 years of your retirement. All right. Now, by stopping your 401k, your taxes will increase. We're going to put $123 a month away for your taxes. Spend about $32,000 the next 22 years, but paying tax now to get tax-free later. We talked about that. You were wanting to do that. So basically, you're spending the same $17.62 a month, not a penny more, a penny less. You're going to have, rather than have 81,000, you can have 1.1 million tomorrow. You're going to spend the same $465,000 over the next 22 years, not a penny more, a penny less. But the difference is you're going to have $1 million in account value in 22 years and have about $66,000 a year income, which is mostly tax-free. Which plan makes more sense to you? All right. And so you got to see a side by side. Again, these plans are really easy to build. Simplify what your client is doing or your prospect's doing. If we look at most situations, and I've done 10,000 plus cases over the last 30 years, and the majority of cases we look at are a 401k and term insurance, buy term, rest the rest, and comparing it to using an IUL or whole life. And it's repeatable. And I can show you dozens of cases, thousands of cases that show you just that. Just a simple way to convey them without having to talk about bottom and just spelling Primerica, without having to get into the Dave Ramsey conversation. It doesn't matter. When you show them this is where you're currently going, you know, using your term insurance, using your savings account, using your 401k, that you're going to have this much saved, this much income, which is all taxable, you know, versus doing it a better way, you can get all the money tax free, not spend a penny more than you're spending now. Which things clients gonna buy without having to get into why an IUL, why whole life, you know, why this company, why that company. When you do a good fact find and you build a presentation that shows them exactly what they need to do, which plan makes more sense, they don't balk. They don't bicker. They don't argue. Well, why a life insurance contract? We already established need for life insurance. We already established need for tax-free income. The sale is made during the fact find. The presentation just sews it up. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I got a couple of, I'll read the chat here. So I have a one-page offer from one of my insurance companies and a 12-page with nearly contract type. How am I supposed to tell them to simplify it? Tell them this is simplified. You got to simplify it for them. You know, you have to, if you're using illustrations, you know, again, we're using the same information from the illustration. We're using the premium, you know, we're using the death benefit, the premium paid over 20 years. This is all coming from the illustration. This is not numbers we're pulling arbitrarily out of the sky. And we're trying to compare to what they're currently doing. So no matter what, it's a direct comparison between these two. Here's where you are now, here's what we're gonna do differently. Here's your current product. If you're looking at someone who has a look at two different annuities. Well, they have this old Athena annuity, old North American annuity that's paying 2%. And want to show them just doing it better with a new Athene or Nationwide, whatever the top annuity contract is. Can we show a direct comparison doing using the same two things? Absolutely. Here's your Athene at 2%, or you're North American 2%. Here's your Athene at 4%. Which plan makes more sense? And you layer the living benefits on there. Well, it has income double, it has, you know, whatever other pieces that go along with it. Looking at 2 term policies. You know, well, I'm selling you you have Banner term right now, one of the cheapest out there. You know, my term is about $10 more a month, but you get living benefits, you know, critical, you know, terminal, chronic, you know, benefits, waiver of premium, child rider, you know, all these bells and whistles for $10 more a month to really protect your family. Which plan makes more sense to you? You can use it in any situation. Marvin, this is a case. This was done six months or a year ago. That's what the agent says he can do, is tactically manage the account. Is my chair still making all that noise? I'm sorry. I gotta sit still. Pull that QR code for you guys. You know, so again, it doesn't matter what you're selling. It can be used in any situation. I've had guys who sold cable TV, who use replacement windows and doors. My daughter uses a variation of this selling gutters. You know, again, it can be used for anything, any sale, buying a home, mortgages. You comparing, when anything you have to compare and contrast sales opportunities wise, you're going to find opportunities to use this presentation. You know, one of my favorite clients years ago was Heather and Brian. And if you guys not heard the Heather and Brian story, if you go to YouTube and look up a high 9 out of 10 sales, there's a video that Lou did on Heather and Brian's case. And Heather's mom was a Primerica agent that sold them term insurance. and we still got them to buy the permanent life. We still have them to spend $3,000 a year in a permanent life policy. By showing this presentation, by showing them without arguing why Primerica sucks or why this term policy is terrible. Forget the negatives of it. Just focusing on the comparison. If you have this 20-year term, the timer expires in 20 years, what's going to happen? You have to pay the guaranteed premium, which is going to skyrocket, or you have to requalify. What if you can't requalify in 20 years? Your family's health is already deteriorating. You've seen your parents and grandparents are going through. You think your health's going to hold steady for the next 20 years? If I can show you, if we do it this way, we put you into a GUL now, it'll cost you a little more than you're spending right now. Or I could convert it, yes. Convert it to a new policy or buy a new GUL where you're healthy, and lock in your death benefit, lock in your premium for the rest of your life, which plan makes more sense? Again, it doesn't matter what you sell. VUL, whole life, mutual funds, AUM, all these different pieces lead to the same conclusion. Here's where you are now. Here's what we can do differently for you. And that's the key to this. People buy based on emotion, just a decision based on logic, and then show them a better way to manage the money. These opportunities create better budget priorities for our clients. We can do this in debt planning, using debt snowballs. We can help them pay off debt using home equity. There's tons of cases we can show, different ways we can illustrate this. It just depends on, what you're trying to sell your prospects, what you're trying to help them do. Term conversions, long-term care, LTC versus asset-based care. There's tons of ways to just compare and contrast these plans. So one of my agents that I've been working with for 20 some years is Rich Moldenhauer, MDRT top of the table guy. And when he was struggling with his business for a couple of years and started going through some changes in his business, getting a little older, and he went and bought our Found Money system and our How to Close on a 10 video training. All right. And these materials changed his entire career from here on out. He has never done less than $500,000 a year since. And he's got to be in his mid to late 70s now. All right. So these techniques I'm teaching you work, and we use this every single day. I build cases for agents every single day. But again, it's always the same philosophy. People buy based on emotion, just a decision based on logic. And when you can do that effectively, when you can show people a better way to use their money to maximize every dollar they have, they want to take action. They want to fix the problem. And you guys saw one of my secrets is I don't help people spend money. I want them to spend the same amount of money they're spending right now, not a penny more, a penny less. If they're spending $3,000 a month on bills and stuff, and I help them reallocate it and spend the same $3,000 and $1,000 a month life policy, and it makes sense to them, perfect. All right. So if you guys want to learn the next step to this, really want to learn how to, one, ask the questions, and two, get templates and learn how to build these cases yourself, so you're able to present and close 9 out of 10 cases, check out my video training. It's $400. It's $200 off for you guys from WebEx. You get case designs, you get coaching for 3 months with me, you get one-on-one case preps for the first 3 months. Let me help you build these cases. Let me show you how to build them the right way. With the Heather and Brian story, some of you guys have heard it already in the past. The agent, would have walked out of making $200 on a flex premium annuity case, a Roth IRA. $2,000, making $100, $200 on that sale. When you really learn how to do this, and what I did for a lot of my agents is I show you a better way to, one, help your client make more for your client, but also in the end, making more for yourself. A lot of people selling option B, increasing policy. You don't need to. You're giving away commissions. You're improperly structuring whole life, IUL, giving away your commissions. when there's a better way to structure it where you get the most value for your client, but also not giving away all your commissions, all your money they're trying to make. So if you really want to learn this stuff, really want to take your steps, you elevate your career, elevate your business to another level. Just stop selling product, to stop just selling, on illustrations, on, annuity illustrations, whole life illustrations, different Innsmark softwares, and really want to find a way that's simple that your clients will understand. I mean, hell, when I showed this to my son a couple of years ago, who I think was like 14 or 15 years old, my son Taylor, and he has no interest in being in this business whatsoever. Never. He hates insurance. He hates this business. He hates sitting at a desk. He refuses to. When I showed this to him, and he goes, "Dad, this makes sense." That tells me a whole lot for a kid who could barely do math classes. It makes sense. He's like, well, if I do this, I get this. If I do this, I get this. Yeah.
Hey, Jeremy.
Yeah, go ahead.
I haven't seen the whole meeting today, so you might have already covered this, but do you have this to help also present annuity sales?
Yes. Yes. And
presentation, the way to condense it down, the way to summarize the benefits as simple as you have with the IUL and the life?
It's really close. Again, depending on, if we're doing just a straight annuity type growth annuity sale, doing the same kind of, side-by-side comparison, works very well. If we're getting to the income planning side of it, we're doing a little more of the, credit income riders, trying to safeguard incomes and show asset growth. We have a 4-page we use, or it's still a 2-page, but it's like 4 pages that shows still a comparison between here's where they are versus what we can do for them differently. Here's the assets before, here's the assets afterwards. So a little more intricate. It's a lot more moving parts to that kind of plan, but we still have a way to simplify to make it really simple for the client and simplify to a 1-page income summary. Helps them just really understand what they're buying, what they're getting into.
Now, is your whole process designed for us to implement it with whatever lead generation programs we're using or referrals, or do you have any kind of a lead generation program also?
I have lead programs. It's a whole different conversation to have. But yeah, I mean, our systems, I'm just focused on the one, question training, the more of the back end. Once you have the appointment, here's what you do next.
Right. Okay.
Presentation. Now, again, if you don't have lead generation systems, processes, go to my website and look at the Trusted Advisor Success. I cannot talk anymore. Trusted Advisor Success program that walks through our 13 different lead generation strategies and a lot more. So we do have different pieces to put in place.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
All right. John asks, is there a discount code for the training program? Yes. If you go to just this page, this insuranceproship.com/FTP, it should be $200 off automatically. Can you drop the link for the coaching again? I'll put those links in the chat for you guys. I mean, sorry, what's going on here? For the coaching, again, the coaching program, they vary in size. What I recommend starting on one of the coaching systems like this. We get three hours free, and then go from there on the coaching. Because again, the coaching is not cheap, unfortunately. My mid-level coaching is $800 a month. Which includes case design and so forth. I have a lower one, which for just cases, depending on what the needs are the agent. And I have some that are $2,000 or more per month, for agents who are trying to scale their businesses and so forth. All right. But if you want to, if you need to meet with me, want to talk to me, you can go to calendly.com and book an appointment with me at any time. I do offer 15-minute consultations. So I'm always available there for you guys to, book time with me. Let's talk. Let's go over your situation. Explore what your needs are. Explore what you want are, what your goals are in your business, and help us, help you build a plan to meet or exceed those needs. Right.
Jeremy, where do we go on the website to see what kind of like marketing programs you have?
if you go to insuranceproshop.com, right in the very front page,
Uh-huh.
you scroll past the opt-in box, you'll see trusted advisor success training. Click that link, and it'll give you the overview of our entire program.
Okay.
Marketing, lead generation, the whole nine. Renee asked, are you an IMO? Can we get contact with carriers lead? No, I am not an IMO. I had 2,000 plus agents years ago, and I decided to leave that life because I was tired of it. I went into full-time sales training and never looked back. But if you need IMOs, I have you. I can recommend to you the ones that I use personally. Just email me, and I'll be happy to give you those recommendations. I can't do a video, unfortunately. I'd like to talk to you about it first before I have people I work with, so I didn't know who you're working with prior to, and I can make some recommendations if they fit. All right. What other questions do you guys have?
Jeremy, is the 9 out of 10 closing course similar to the one that we're talking about today?
Yes, the same course. How to Yes, the same as that course. So where I think if you purchased the Trusted Advisor New Age Success System or the Annuity Sales System in the last 2 or 3 years, you have the 9 out of 10 course built into it already. But if you don't, there's a standalone version. It's $400 off this call. That gives you that 8 hours of training on video. Goes through different case designs, templates, presentation softwares, things that I use every day. I actually give to you guys to be able to build these cases with. So if I find softwares, online calculators that help me build cases, like one of the software I use, so I do a lot of help people modify their hourly wages. So using like ADP or Paycheck City's hourly calculator, I do share that information because there's so many different pieces you can use, different tools to help simplify what clients are doing. Kevin, I'll get back to you after I get your message. I'll respond to you after the meeting. What other questions do you guys have? Yeah, feel free to unmute yourself, turn your video camera on. We can chat for the next 10 minutes or so.
You said we could email you if we wanted to find out more about like what IMO we should contract with.
Yeah, just shoot an email to ipscoachjeremy@gmail.com. I'll put it in the chat also. That's where I can reach directly. And you can ask me any questions there regarding IMOs, products. I'll be happy to answer any questions I have. Again, I have a very unbiased opinion of what products to use. So I'm not an IMO, but I'll give you a lot of information on strategies. Again, one of the things I find a lot in this industry is agents have no idea of what they're really worth value-wise, what their contracts are worth value-wise. So I do tend to expose a lot of crap in talking to agents, going through the situation, looking at their IMO, what they're being offered. And I have no problem giving you unbiased information that most IMOs won't tell you, what real overrides are, what the commission structures really are in some of these companies, because there's a lot of crap out there and the agents are being taken advantage of more often than not with their carriers.
Great, thanks.
Yep.
Hi, this is Tim. Can you hear me, Jeremy?
Yep.
Great stuff. And I'm sure this translates into wealthier clients in terms of buying on emotion, but justifying with logic. Do you do much work in kind of the business area or business owners and buy, sell, and just those kind of things if they crop up as well?
I do. I don't shy away from any opportunities, but
Okay.
I focus all my efforts in my family market, and I do find a lot of annuity business owners, corporations. I find some CEOs, CFOs I've worked with in the past. You find a lot because you meet them on a personal level, so it's easier to get into the business doors from the personal back end sale. So now that you have their personal stuff, now they're not being again, most businesses are inundated with people walking their business, trying to get them to sit down and talk about their commercial insurance, their life insurance, their 401ks and investment policies for the employees for them. Where if you go in the back door, you get the personal stuff first. Now it's a no-brainer for them to put you in front of their client, in front of their agents, in front of their employees, and so forth.
Fantastic. Okay. Sounds great. Thank you.
Any more questions? Don't be shy. All right, well, we have no more questions. We'll go ahead and wrap up here. Again, sorry for the chair squeak.
Can I ask a question,
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Gary? I'm restarting again after about 5 years. I can't believe I'm 86. CLU and all that kind of crap. How do you prospect? And do you work virtually, which is what I'm up to doing? I used to drive 300 to 500 miles a week, you know?
Mhm.
So how are you prospecting? Do you have a way for us to do that? Because I have no way at the moment other than going and buying leads, or you know where I am. You know where I am.
So okay, so yes, we do have ways of prospecting. One of the more common ways we're seeing right now, again, a lot of what I teach is 5 new appointments a week.
Five what? Say it again.
5 new appointments a week.
Yes.
So if you run 5 and you're the worst closer, you close 1 out of 5, and the average sale is $4,000, you're still making $200,000 a year working part-time.
Yeah.
Right? So the way I'm leaning right now with a lot of stuff, because again, the whole lead landscape is changing in June or later this year. Of buying leads, the way it's being done is going to be changing. So what's
going to change?
The how leads are being bought and sold. There's a lot of FCC and SEC rulings that are changing how leads are. Basically, lead process is being abused. Dialers are being abused, and people are tired of it, so they're fighting back. Whole nother conversation there. But the way I've been prospecting with a lot of my guys is we're doing what we call our heartfelt letter process, and then follow up with a conversation. Every bit of marketing we do as agents, people aren't going to, we're not going to be the market. Hey, how great's our life insurance policy? People don't buy life insurance.
Yeah.
They buy a solution to a problem. So
they buy the result.
They buy the result. So we have to market, the problem they're facing. We want to get them to market so that we can have a conversation with them. So our marketing leads to a conversation. Yeah. So if we're doing a heartfelt letter, add-in booklet system, doing educational workshops, any of those 3 joint venture partnerships, there's different ways to prospect at a much lower cost, because we're not looking for thousands of contacts. We're looking for 5 new prospects a week.
Yeah.
So my guys send out 25 letters, 25 to 50 letters a week, follow up the phone call, on average, between 3 and 5 appointments a week, doing 25, 50 letters a week. Low cost, under $100 a month, around $100 a month.
Wow.
And without stressing. And then
is this all in your system? In other words, if I buy your system from you, do I get this?
You'll get that through the coaching. Right now, through the 3, I'm building actually a separate course on basic prospecting.
Okay.
But right now I'm including that with the 3 months of coaching with this system.
Okay.
That training, as well as the training on the closing and so forth. Make sense?
Yeah. Better than doing seminars for 16 years.
Yeah, it's a lot less costly. I mean, there's so much stuff being out there. I have agents that are paying, $2,000 a week in leads, and they're killing themselves and creating competition. Where, again, depending on the market you're working into, I work all small family markets. My book of my market is 35 to 55 families with kids who own homes. My niche is people who have kids who play travel sports. A baseball coach. So I track these people anyways. I'm always at the ball fields, at the football fields, on the basketball courts, always working, coaching, working with kids. So I have a lot of parents in that metric. I had my son was 19 or just turned 21. Turning 21 this year. Been playing travel baseball since he was 7. So I've had that natural market around me for almost 13, 14 years. And it's great. So I mean, depending on what market you're using, but for the average family market, even if you're looking at the average people, average income people, the middle income markets are great, whether it's senior or young families. Because once you get that, spot where you're doing the seminars, doing the high end annuity marketplace, you want 250 more investable assets. Everybody's going to the same marketplace. But I can go find people using Social Security planning, using basic annuity type income planning topics to create sales opportunities for annuities all day long with average people, not people that are making $100,000 a year in retirement, but I want people that are making $30,000 to $40,000 in retirement. Filling those gaps. Then there's thousands of them. Years ago when my dad, first went from Massachusetts to Florida, he was trying to sell more annuities. He inherited one of the worst MetLife branches back in the 1990. And, we were talking and he was yelling or not yelling, but venting his frustrations with his agents about, that they can't sell these, they can't find annuity clients, they can't find all these people. We're in friggin' Florida. There's thousands of seniors here. Why can't we sell annuities? I said, you're going off the wrong market. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, well, if you look at the market you're working, you're looking at people that are already affluent. You're going to these affluent communities in Florida, St. Lucie West. You're targeting all these high-end, Sailfish Point, Hobe Sound, all these high-end places. You have this trailer park right next door on a golf course called Spanish Lakes. The average home in there is only less than 100K at that point. So I told them to go in there. I said, bring a couple of your agents, go in there and talk to some people. And they ended up pulling out 8-10 million out of there in a month. And they started going trailer park to trailer park all over South Florida doing this. It's just you get to learn where your market is. And again, if everybody's going to the same marketplace, everybody's going after the millionaires, everybody's going after 250 more in assets, clients that make $200,000 more income. Everybody's targeting these people where no one's targeting the average people that need the most help, that have money. They think, again, in life insurance, the average commission being sold today is between $600 and $1,000 in premium or commissions. Okay, that's the average closed sale for most IMOs, for most companies in general. My guys are closing between $4,000 to $8,000 per case. When you help people find the money, the I can afford it goes away. When we're showing them how they can move money from A to B to get what they really want, if they really need. So if I have to tell people, hey, you need to buy this life insurance, $50 a month, $100 a month, it's going to be yes or no, I can't afford it, all the crap, right? Where if you take the money out of the equation by showing them how they can reposition money they're already spending, you're already spending $3,000 a month on your bills. You put them on your 401k, you have some group life insurance, you have some overpriced term insurance, you have a cancer policy. If we can help you consolidate and reposition this money to get what you really want, your retirement plan, to get your disability coverage you need, the things that you really want to have in the future, and have it not cost you a penny more than you're spending, is what we're talking about. Again, again, I'll give you guys another free tip is about prospecting is, one of the topics that everybody likes talking about, everybody hates this topic they love talking about, is taxes. Taxes are a huge topic right now. Everybody hates paying income taxes, property taxes, state income taxes, sales tax. We hate taxes in general. But if you have a conversation with people, just asking them about, with everything happening in the economy today, I don't care if you're blue or red, does not matter. The way the government's spending money hand over fist, giving money away hand over fist, who's going to end up paying that bill long term? The people. So do we think tax is going to be higher or lower in the future? Well, they're going to be higher. You know what the highest marginal tax rate we've had in this country was? 95% back in 1942. So if taxes even go back to half of that, how is that going to affect the income you have in retirement? What are you going to do? What's your strategy to avoid paying all those taxes long term? If I can show you how to avoid those taxes and create a bucket of tax-free money you cannot live, is what we're sitting and talking about. Have a conversation. You know, I talk to people at I bowl every Thursday. I go to the grocery store once a week. I talk to people everywhere I go. Just have conversations. We see people all the time. You know, one of the things I was doing 2 years or 3 years ago, I'll sit and text people a question. I'll find people on Facebook, on my phone that I've collected, and just ask them one question. You know, with everything happening today, how prepared I'm ready for retirement? It's a great conversation starter. You know, because people that are proud of their 401k will tell you, well, I have a 401k and I'm doing great. Just tell me what you need. Tell me how to sell you, you know, please, you know, and again, just having conversation with people. And when you learn how to create those conversations, this becomes very easy. The close becomes even easier. When you find the right prospect, when you can identify the ideal prospect, set appointments with them consistently, you know, you can do this business part-time and make $200,000 or $300,000 a year without batting an eye. Whether it's face-to-face, virtual, over the phone, does not matter. We're not selling a product. The people that struggle with the virtual sales are just selling a product. They're selling final expense, selling mortgage protection, they're selling annuities just based on the product itself. When you're doing more consultative sales, when you're finding problems and helping people solve and put solutions to the problems, I don't care if you're face-to-face or over Zoom, doesn't matter. It's the same process. I was doing Zoom before it was cool, unfortunately. Or fortunately, you know, prior to 2020, most agents were not doing virtual sales. I was closing cases all over the country still. It's the same exact process. When you learn to ask the right questions, everything opens up. Make sense?
In your system are all this talking about the, you know, I have a million questions to ask, but are you including in your system the types of questions that you're talking about today on the webinar?
Yep. In the actual video training, Lou goes over the basis of how to ask the questions, the hows, the whys to it. And then I give you the backup detail through coaching and through I have different assignments we do, different ways we probably build your own question chain. Because again, we're going to take, you know, I'm not a big believer in scripts. I hate scripts with a passion. I want to help you internalize the philosophy and teach you how to ask the right questions for yourself. So the first assignment we typically do is to help you build your first question chain. A couple guys on here now, like Jim Hickey's on here with me, and we just built his a couple weeks ago, and we go through and look at, you know, what you want to accomplish in this business, who do you want to work with, what you're passionate about doing, and help you build a question that's going to lead people to that focused point you want to work. You know, I don't want to sell term insurance, so my competition don't even go anywhere near term insurance. I want to find some people that want to buy cash value life insurance. I want to help people plan for their retirement. That's my goal. Help people plan for retirement and put their kids through college. Those are my two objectives. Both those are solved by me selling cash value life insurance. And that's what I'm passionate about doing. So that's people I look for in that nature. So if you find something you're passionate about, you know, I had a gentleman up in Tennessee who was passionate about helping nurses get financially sound. You know, his mom was a nurse. She died penniless. He wanted to change that. So he worked with nurses. I have a gentleman, he's still up in the business. I think he's in the business. His name is Abu. He travels all the country teaching, again, finding your niche market, finding what you're passionate about. He's an African-American male. He's an older guy now, but his mom died penniless because she was a single parent, couldn't save money. So his goal was to work with widowed women of color of how to save money for their future, how to protect their kids, their grandkids, and create legacy wealth. Just find your niche, find your market you want to work. Find what you're passionate about and go after it. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
It all sounds like home. My dad was a welder. When I was 11 years old, my mother threw me out to go to work. She says, "We need the money."
Yep.
This is, I'm sitting here going, wait a minute, I would make that kind of a shift. I'm Silicon Valley. All three of my kids are Silicon Valley.
Mhm.
So the seminars that we did, what we mailed was, 55 and over. And that's been my market. 16 years, 680 of them. We would write generally between, if I decided not to work the whole year, we wrote about 10. If I worked the whole year, we'd write 13.5 or something.
Mhm.
But then because we wrote that much, I would get half the overwrite and they would pay for another week for trips. And so it was like writing 17, 18 million.
Yep.
And now I'm starting all over again. So this is very, very interesting, Jerry.
Yeah, I mean, it's simple. I mean, it's
Which is what my market was. I grew up in the business with Mutual of Omaha, selling disability coverage,
Yep,
So
there you go.
yeah.
Yeah.
And before that, here I am in CLU and all this kind of stuff. I was a machinist and a tool and die maker in Seattle, and I ran a machine shop with 270 people in it. And I look back at that, I cut my thumb off and all that stuff. And I look back at all this now, I think, what a life I've had for 57 years, Can't believe I'll be 87 next month. So
No, I mean, I have a couple guys. Mr. Rudolph's 85, John is 84 this year, 85 this year, and they're both still going strong. They just they learn these techniques. Jim he's old principal prudential guy, way back. And we just closed case. I think we just closed about 25,000 in premium last month, 2 months ago, on 2 different annuity sales, just by doing these basic presentations.
yeah. So let me ask you another question then. I'm sitting here going, wait a minute, such a major shift. But you've got kids out playing baseball. I mean, all three of my kids are 50. Okay. Told them not to do that crap. So then we moved up to a retirement community. And so will your system assist me in prospect? I'm not at ball games. I'm not bowling. I'm not all that stuff. Will your system empower me to create enough people to be talking to one a day for 5 days?
Yes. Absolutely. Again, it's a matter of just creating conversations, and you can create them a lot of different ways, for very low cost, doing the heartfelt letters, follow up the phone call, running ads in the local paper, using the ad and booklet type report system. We're getting people to opt in for information and then dripping on them. There's all kinds of ways to do it.
Interesting.
It doesn't have to be thousands of
Jeremy,
hours of material. Go ahead.
Jeremy, tell Roy about the time your father, when you were young and you didn't believe in prospecting and stuff, because that's the ultimate star, right? That's the one that really, one of them, especially if you're trying to pick up, where you can't believe that you can't pick anything up and stuff. And especially because, I think you're really good at training new agents, especially new ones. And I think you have a lot of new ones in here, and that I think is really, really good. I think if you could share that one.
Yeah. So the parking garage story, right? Is that what you're talking about, Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll try to tell the quick version of it. So years ago, when I first got in the business, 18, 19 years ago, got licensed and wanted to do the business my way and struggled miserably. Didn't want to listen to dad. And as a top producer, I'm not going to say anything he says. I'm going to do it my way and fail my way. And so I failed miserably. So me and this other agent, Alpha, are sitting in Lou's office, and Lou's yelling at us because we did a call the night before. We couldn't buy an appointment with anybody. We couldn't get anybody to bite on, a free consultation, any kind of, even to buy a 10-month term. It was not happening. Right. So he's getting frustrated because he tells us if you ask enough questions, it's important to anybody. And we're like, yeah, we asked questions. We got nowhere last night. Miserable. He's getting frustrated. We go down the parking garage, the smoking area where in our office building. And he's just still telling us, and it's falling on deaf ears. Me and this guy are just rolling our eyes, don't believe a word he's saying. This is not that easy. And so he says, if you ask enough questions, it's important to anybody. So the elevator door opens. He turns around and asks this lady, ma'am, do you have a retirement plan? And she goes, no. And he asked, you know, may I ask why? I can't afford it. And she asked, well, how do you feel about that? And well, I feel miserable. I just can't do anything about it. Well, you know, did you spend $20 last week you could have saved? And how about all the last month? Right? So is that $80 you spent other places more important than your retirement? You know, and got the appointment right there. So he looks back at us. It's that easy, guys. Just ask questions. And of course, we have a rebuttal. It's no, it was Ken. She knows you're a salesperson. She's just role playing with you. Blah blah blah. Whatever the reason was, he did it 5 more times that afternoon. Made 5 more appointments, 6 appointments overall, and it finally clicked after about the 4th or 5th time that okay, maybe he doesn't know what he's talking about. And I started really learning this technique and really putting it to work, you know, putting it to use, learning to ask some basic questions, and my sales skyrocketed from there. Just because I started learning to ask the right questions and find my ideal prospect, not trying to work. Everybody's not a prospect for what I want, what I have, and I don't want everybody as a prospect. Now, can I help everybody? Absolutely, I can help everybody in one way or another. But I'm going to focus my efforts on the people I have the most success of selling. So for me, it's people that are 35, 50, kids who want, you know, family with kids who own homes, kids with travel sports. That's my niche. Again, whatever niche you have, if you're in Silicon Valley and you work with mostly tech upstarts, you know, and have kids that are 50 years old, then, you know, work on that market. You know, work on your kids. That's a great market to be in. John asked, are there any book recommendations? Well, of course, are you asking a question? The book I wrote. It's a great one to start with. Another great book on questions. He's a competitor, but I love him. Sid Walker's book, Selling Without Wrestling, is a phenomenal book. Those are the 2 I look at questions for. Another thing you can look at, because I just find so much value.
I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble hearing. What was his name?
Sid Walker.
Sid Walker.
Yep. Selling
And
Without
the name
Wrestling.
of the book?
Selling Without Wrestling.
Say it again.
Selling Without Wrestling. Great book. There's a newsletter by Van Miller. It's $20 a month. It's a great read. He talks about a lot about questions, a lot of different topics that people. He's one of the top predominant salespeople in the country right now.
What's his name?
Van Miller.
Oh, Van Miller. Oh, yeah. Been
around for a long time. His newsletter is awesome. It's $20 a month.
Yep.
He does a video training on it the week after. It's a phenomenal piece. Those would be the 3 that I would start with, and then is then looking at, you know, different sales concepts, different pieces of that nature. Another great one on conversations is what's it called? Don Blanton, the guy who runs Circle of Wealth. It's called Your Circle of Wealth. Another great book by Don Blanton.
Bland, how do you spell it?
Blanton.
Circle of Wealth.
Great conversation piece. But those would be the ones I kind of start with on the questioning, on the consultative selling process. Ed's holding up the Frank Becker book. If you have not read How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success by Frank Becker, highly recommend reading it. Another great book. There's 2 of the books you can get on Amazon. One is, I don't have a copy right here. Derek Nelson, one of the guys I've been coaching for years, wrote a book called Financial Peace in a Post-Pandemic World. Another phenomenal book. You can get it on Amazon. It's inexpensive. It's on the Resource Center, I think, the actual paperback version of the Resource Center for people that are members. Another great one there. Another book you can read, I find, if you can get a copy of it, is The Feldman Method.
The Method?
The Feldman Method.
Oh, Feldman Method. Yeah.
Andrew H. Thomas wrote this. It's out of print. If you can find one, great. I only have 2 copies left, and I'm not giving away either one of them. I mean, I know buying them used, some of them were $100 or more. But there's a lot of information there. some of it is kind of outdated, but the process, some of the questions all are still valid. Questions don't
Yeah.
style. It's a matter
I
of
remember years ago, and I was in the business when he retired, and he moved to Florida, and then to honor his retirement, NILIC ran a contest to honor him. And sitting in Florida, he won the contest.
Love it.
I'm just, yeah. Let me ask, this is way off in the. I pride myself when I can stay conscious to always live by the CLU creed, which is I will do for them who I'm working with, I do for myself in the same situation. And some other CLUs that I know add another phrase to the end of it, because we come into this with some knowledge that the average individual doesn't have. So some of my friends have said, I will do for those what I'm with, and at the end of it saying, knowing what I know. So and I've run into this a couple of times now, and I was like, what do I say to them? They'll say, well, are you a fiduciary? Well, by choice I am. But people to get the phrase fiduciary, all they got to do is pass a 65 test. I took 5 years of CLU training. And I tell somebody I'm a CLU. What is that? So how do you handle when somebody says, are you a fiduciary? And my sense, I don't know whether you are or not. I don't have a securities license. I gave it up in 85, but I have somebody who does all that for me. I think they ought to have both ways of investing and get some of the upside, so.
Absolutely. So what I ask people, what's the definition of a fiduciary?
Do what's right for the client.
Do what's right for the client. Then yes, I'm a fiduciary.
Yeah.
Now, am I fiduciary legally on the standpoint of do I sell mutual funds, stocks, investment advice? No.
Yeah.
But I am a fiduciary. I do what's best for the client each and every time based on what I have to work with and based on what I know today.
Yeah.
That's
about what I've been saying. Yeah. I went further and saying, look, I have so much knowledge way beyond what any one of those fiduciaries has. And they just sit on the other side going, huh? So I was like, stop that.
Yeah. No, so I keep one designation. That's my RFC. Only one I have. Not that I haven't taken the CLU, the LUTCF. I have all the books I've studied. I don't take tests. But my RFC basically helped me bypass all those headaches. RFC stands for Registered Financial Consultant. And when I explain that to what I am, how I help people, that's all I care about. I don't get into
I don't know anything about the RFC. I just, who produces it? The college that produces it? Where do you get it? What do you have to have? What's the license?
It's an independent organization. It's iarfc.org. All right. Basic requirements are 4 years of planning experience, having either a degree in financial planning or having an insurance license qualifies you for the designation, and then you're required to take 40 units of CE a year, which there's a lot of there's more than just the traditional CE you have to take with your state. Every training class you go to is a CEU credit, basically. So I have like through my membership for my guys, I charge $40 for membership, and I do 4 classes a month on marketing and sales training. Those count towards your IRC CE credits. So 4 hours a month, 12 months out of the year, you have 48 CE credit opportunities just through me, without depending on my live classes, special classes like this with WebEx or whatnot. But it's a phenomenal organization. We're having our 40th anniversary event in North Carolina later this year at the Biltmore. It's gonna be a really fun event out there. I gotta talk about it later on with everybody else on that. But yeah, I mean, it's a great organization. I've been with them for almost 15, 18 years. But they stress education, ethics. They build you a small one-page website off their site to give you a web presence. I think it costs about $600 a year to be a member, but it's well worth it.
How much?
$600 a year.
Oh,
Compared to the CFP or other ones, it's nuts. It's cheap. But yep, great organization. I love being a part of it. I'm on the 2 different membership boards right now with them because they keep sucking me into different roles. I try to avoid it, but they keep sucking me in. So we'll see. But yeah.
if I get sucked into one more thing, I've been a national sales director, lived in Omaha. Wow. And the surprising thing for me with CLU is the college never sends me anything. The college, as far as they're concerned, I'm long gone. They gave me it, I'm gone.
Yep, they don't care.
They don't care.
Nope.
And I understand that now LUTC is another organization out of Washington, D.C. or something.
Yeah, it's they keep moving it. They had an FSS, the American College. Now it's the LUTC College of Financial Planning. It keeps moving around. NAFA keeps taking it back, sending it out different places. I'm actually in process of getting certified to teach that course later this year.
So
yeah,
I used to teach it too. Yeah, I taught it.
Course to teach. I mean, I've taken it. I remember when Lou went through it in 84, 85. Me studying with him and helping him quiz him on some of the stuff. So, but that was
I used to teach the business side. So yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
For my age, I had 28 agencies. 4 of my agencies were in Philadelphia and Cherry Hill. I used to stay at the Cherry Hill Inn and drive right by the college. I had to stop in there sometime. Never did. I must have gone by that place 100 times. Yep. 4 agencies in Philadelphia,
Absolutely.
Wow.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap up. It's 2:30. I have for my guys that are on the call right now, we have a call at 3 for the membership group. So I'll see you guys in about 30 minutes. I'm going to grab some lunch real quick. But if you guys have any other questions, feel free to call me anytime. Book a time with me on my calendar. Let's chat. All right.
You guys. Thank you very much, Jerry. Thank you.
Thank you,
Jeremy.